What's up, guys? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. I'm Brooke. I'm a mom of 4. On my channel you'll see lots of family adventures and just our lifestyle raising 4 kids. So today I am talking about my favorite subject, which is Walt Disney World. In my last video I talked about wanting to do a sit down of my favorite things that we've done at Disney, some tips and things that I've learned, as well as just taking a larger family to Disney. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. So let's talk about Disney. Okay, first of all, if you know, you know, this is the resort loop that plays in your hotel room. It gives you all the updates on park times, the different things going on around the park and the resort. So I just thought that was really fun. It makes me feel like I'm at Disney even though I'm not. So I wanted to show you. You can find this on YouTube. So if you want to look for the Disney resort loop, something of that variation, then you can find that and play it while you're, you know, just hanging out or you're folding laundry, anything like that. Just kind of gives you just a little bit of that Disney magic. Also, my shirt, I will link it below. One of my favorite YouTubers creates this in her Etsy shop. This is a Blair Lamb design shirt and it has the castle with fireworks, which are starting back really soon, and I'm so jealous that we're not going to be there to see them when they start back because I just love the fireworks. They're one of my absolute favorite things, and we'll talk more about that. Okay, so I thought that I would break this video up into different sections, starting with the different parks, my favorite rides, everything that has to do with the parks, and then the resorts, all of the ones that we have specifically stayed at, I'll talk more about and talk about my favorites there. Then I will include some other restaurants, which I thought that I would put restaurants in with those specific parks as well, but there may be some outside of the parks as well. Then I would love to talk about a couple of tips, my dream trip. So the parks, and we'll start with the number 1, Magic Kingdom. There's just nothing like it. I think that there's something about walking into the Magic Kingdom that is just, if you're a Disney person, then you know, like there is just something that overtakes you walking down Main Street, and you're just transported into fantasy, really. So I would say it is for sure my favorite park, along with the fact that we can all do something together on mostly everything there. So it's really great if you have really little children, you can pretty much do everything as a family, and I love that. Jambo, I believe, has been each of my littles' very first ride. That's something else I would say too, is don't be afraid to take your younger kids to Disney. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, but they're too young, they can't go, they can't enjoy it. And it is just as much, if not more magical as a parent to experience those things with your children as it is for them to experience it. And so I would always say, take your kids at any age because it's just truly magical. So my favorite ride at Magic Kingdom would be so hard to pinpoint because, like I said, Dumbo holds a lot of memories for us. One of my absolute favorite memories is if you know about Florida, you can pretty much expect it to rain every single day, whether it's just like a 20-minute shower or whatnot. You're almost guaranteed that it's going to rain at some point. There are some weeks that it doesn't, but it's really kind of nice because it's so hot and humid in Florida, so we really like it. So one of our favorite memories, my husband and I's, is just we just jumped right on Dumbo in the pouring rain, soaking wet. Everyone else in line was like, oh no, we're not gonna get on it because it's totally outside, you're completely in the elements, and so you will get soaking wet. But that was just one of my absolute favorite memories because we just are kids when we go there. All of our stress from home is just completely melted away when we get there. And so we rode with our kids in the pouring rain, soaked head to toe afterward. We laughed the whole time, and it was truly one of my favorite memories. Get wet, get in there, it's okay, you'll dry off. That's just one of my most favorite memories at Disney was getting on Dumbo in the pouring rain. We just all had the best time. But I would say, I think that Thunder Mountain is my favorite, especially when the fireworks are going at night. It's amazing. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I would put that up there with it, but it's such a short roller coaster that you don't really get to enjoy the fireworks like you do on Thunder Mountain. There's different points in Thunder Mountain when you're kind of like going up the hill, and you really can take in those fireworks a lot more. That I think is my favorite. For food in Magic Kingdom, we really love Be Our Guest. I absolutely love Be Our Guest. You are completely immersed in Beauty and the Beast. You are taken into the movie. So that's my favorite. We have also, of course, done Cinderella's Table, and I love the character interaction at Cinderella's Royal Table, but the food to me is not good. And when we have eaten at Be Our Guest, the food is really good, in my opinion. That would be my favorite there. For quick services, Casey's is great. You can get a really yummy hot dog from there. I mean, it's the basic hot dog, but it's really good quick service. I also love the egg rolls, and I really love the cheeseburger egg rolls. I like the pizza ones too, but I think the cheeseburger is super delicious. We've also eaten at the Crystal Palace as well, and you can have a meal with Winnie the Pooh and all of those characters. It's a buffet style, so if you like that, I think that's a great option. I think the food was really good there too. We haven't been in a while there, but that was good, and the characters were really cute. Of course, like, one of my absolute favorite things is the fireworks and the shows at the Magic Kingdom. They're just the best. I would say one of my tips for that, as much as I think you have to watch Happily Ever After or whatever the show is that's going on at the time at least once on your trip, but after you watch your initial like first show, I would highly recommend getting on all the rides that you want to do while the show's going on a different day of your trip, because you can knock out so many rides. And like I was saying about Thunder Mountain, if you get there at a good time, the fireworks usually last for a good like 20 minutes, the whole show and everything. And so you can pretty much guarantee that you will get to see the fireworks on Thunder Mountain. And so, or if you wanted to do Seven Dwarfs, it's just amazing. So those are all of the things that I really love in Magic Kingdom. It's just my favorite. There's just nothing like it. I love Main Street, and I'm so excited because I heard that the new show that's going to be starting for the 50th is going to be like Disneyland, where it projects onto Main Street, which they haven't done at Disney World. So that, I am sure, is going to be absolutely stunning. And if I haven't said it, I am so jealous. I want to be there so bad. On to Hollywood Studios, which I really do like. I have come to like it a lot more than I used to. When we first started going to Disney, all they had was the Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Star Tours, Backlot Express, which is not there anymore. So if you've been when that was there, it's been a while. And they had the Great Movie Ride, and then, you know, some shows. It has come such a long way. I love Toy Story Land. It is probably one of my favorite places to be. It is very immersive. You really do feel like you're one of the toys, and Toy Story Mania is hands down one of my favorite rides. That is a must do. Every single time we have to do it, if not just once, like multiple times if we can. It is one of our family's favorites. It's interactive, it's a fun game that you get to play, it's cool, it's nice and inside. Very fun. I really love all of Toy Story Land. When we went on this last trip, and if you haven't seen any of our Disney videos, I'll link them for you. You can click above and see our whole playlist We had such a great time. Now that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is there, oh my gosh, that is now one of our favorite rides too. My husband and I, like, we could not stop talking about it for the rest of the trip. And even now, like when we're at home, we're like, man, that was such a great addition to the park. It's so much fun, so cute. We love it. Another of our family favorite is the Tower of Terror. My kids, man, I'll tell you, like, I am constantly in awe of how brave my kids are, because when I was a kid, I did not ride rides. I mean, I was terrified of Splash Mountain. I was terrified of everything. I would not ride on any rides. And so my kids constantly impressed me with how much they love thrill rides and things that I would not have gone on when I was their age. So that's another one of our family favorites, is the Tower of Terror. Disney's done a really good job bringing in some good new rides. We love Slinky Dog. Hollywood Studios is definitely one of our more favorites now, for sure. The one thing that I complain about, I think, the most with Hollywood Studios is just how hot it is to me. And I know a lot of people will say, you know, EPCOT or Animal Kingdom is the hottest park, but I really truly feel like Hollywood Studios, there is no shade. There is nothing to really protect you from just that hot Florida sun. So that is my biggest complaint with Hollywood Studios. I do wish that they had more shade somehow. Like, I would love for them to be able to work some shade into the theming of the park, because it is hot. Other than that, I mean, they're really doing a good job. We love a lot of the shows there too. Frozen sing-along, you have to do it. It is so much fun, so cute. And if you have a Frozen lover, they're gonna love it. It's funny for adults and it's just so cute. I also really love the Little Mermaid show. They were not performing it on our last trip, so that was a bummer, but it's for sure one of our favorites as well. So as far as food goes in Hollywood Studios, we really like Woody's Lunchbox that's in Toy Story Land. I like that they have different options than a lot of the quick service places. They have different sandwiches, those homemade Pop-Tarts, and different things than are at a lot of the quick services around Disney. That's one of my favorites in Hollywood Studios. I also really like the Ronto wrap in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I think those were really good. I was really pleasantly surprised that it was as good as it is, because it's like a sausage dog in like a pita with coleslaw and different stuff on it. It's really good, and it's huge. I think the Ronto wraps are really good for a quick bite, and they're really filling, they're big. We've also done sci-fi dining, which the experience is fun, but I think the quality of food could be better. It's really kind of like a diner, but I think it's more of an experience because you feel like you're outside in the moonlight, the stars, and you're watching a black and white movie on this big screen, and you're in the back of like an old 60s style car. So it's really fun, but I think the food for sure could be improved. We've also done Hollywood and Vine with the Disney Junior characters, which it is a buffet style service. Again, I don't really think the food is the best, but the experience and the ability to meet all the Disney Junior characters is really fun. So if you're looking for, you know, a character dining, if your kids really love like Vampirina and Fancy Nancy, and I'm pretty sure that Mickey and Minnie still come around in there. It's been a couple of trips since we've done Hollywood and Vine, so I'm not sure how they've changed it up. I think those are both fun as well. That's kind of my summary of Hollywood Studios. I really do like that park a lot more now, with the more that they're adding to it. They definitely could add more. I think that it would be really cool if I know a lot of people like to do the shows, but I think it would be really fun if they took out the Indiana Jones show and redid or brought out the Indiana Jones ride that they have at Disneyland, which is Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. But I think that would be really fun if they brought that ride here, because I do like Dinosaur. I laugh hysterically the whole time. But I think it'd be really fun if they brought that out, because then you're still getting that Hollywood movie set feel, you know? So I think that'd be a great addition to Hollywood Studios, just to bring that ride out here, because I know it is a lot of people's favorite version of that ride. A lot of people don't like Dinosaur, they prefer Indiana Jones, and so that'd be great if you could add it here and took away the show. I might be partial though, I don't know. Do a lot of people, like, if you've been to Disney, do you like the Indiana Jones stunt show? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it being there, but I think it'd be really fun to have a different, like a ride, you know, another ride in that area. The only other thing too with Hollywood Studios, I mean, I like it and I understand the need for the boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance, but it is kind of frustrating if you are not fast enough to get a boarding pass. I was really too slow. It's kind of frustrating, you know, to not be able to get on the ride, you know, where I know some people, they're able to get passes like every single time. I don't know. How do I do it? It was only open this last time. It wasn't open on our trip before, so I really have only had one opportunity to do it and I didn't do it. I failed. That's most of my thoughts for Hollywood Studios, the things that I like, just different things about Hollywood Studios. So let's move on to Animal Kingdom, which I think that's my number 2 favorite. It's really still so hard for me to rank the parks, but Animal Kingdom is unbelievable. It is so immersive, and I really hate when people are like, no, it's just a certified zoo pretty much, and it's not. It is so much more. It is so beautiful. I love Animal Kingdom so much. I think even they could 100% use some more rides. I will say that, but I just love it so much. I just love it. I love the park. My favorite ride, I think, in all of Walt Disney World is for sure Expedition Everest. It's just such a good roller coaster. I am pretty sure we would all agree in our family that that's our favorite. All of us that have been able to ride it, of course. That is our favorite. That's our favorite ride in all of the parks. It's so great, and it's so crazy to me how, if you, again, I will link the Animal Kingdom Day above so you can check that out, or I'll link it below. But it is like crazy to me that at the end of the day, every single trip we've ever gone on, I don't think we've ever been on a trip where it hasn't been like this, but at the end of the night, the line, and really most of the day too, really, I don't think there's ever really a huge line, and the line moves pretty quickly. And every single trip, every night, that's how we end our Animal Kingdom Day, just back to back to back to back, riding that ride. It's just, that's one of our like must-dos every time. I would say that is for sure all of our favorite across the board. That's our favorite ride across all the parks. I love the shows too. I really love the Lion King show. I'm so happy to see that that's back, and I can't wait until we can go back and watch that. I love Pandora. Again, that is just, you are so immersed in that movie. It is unbelievable. Flight of Passage is a remarkable ride. It is the most beautiful ride, and like, it's breathtaking. It really is. I could probably shed a tear riding it every time. I might even, I don't know, I probably do. I love it so much. It's stunning. It's a fantastic ride. Do I think that it's worth some of those wait lines, like 3 and 4 hours? Absolutely not. I will never wait in a line that long, especially because we do have 4 kids and we're typically doing rider swap. That just would not go, that just would not work for us. We could not sit there for 4 hours for any ride. It doesn't matter what ride it is. We just couldn't do it. I do understand why people do it, because it's amazing. We have, as far as food, eaten at Tiffin's. So if you're looking for a high scale restaurant experience, that is really yummy. You are not in a theme park when you eat there. You are at a fine dining restaurant, in my opinion. Do I think that I would want to go there with my kids again? No, I would not. I would not want, because it is, you know, a nicer experience, and you know, kids being hot and miserable throughout the day, being in the parks and being overstimulated and all those things, I would not want to go there with my kids again. But it's delicious. It is amazing food. If you're looking for something with a more elevated atmosphere, a more elevated dining palette, food experience, I think Tiffin's is so delicious. I also really love the character meal at Tusker House. And if you can get there between breakfast and lunch, like that 10:30 time frame, you can experience both breakfast and lunch. So if you have kids that are maybe pickier, because there is going to be a lot more offerings that may be a little different than what you're used to, you can have your kids eat the pretty basically, you can get all the Mickey waffles and eggs and things like that, like a normal breakfast. And then for lunch, there's just a lot more variety, a lot more things to taste and try that you may not taste, you know, anywhere else. You may not have like an African style restaurant wherever you live. So it's really delicious, especially if you're a little adventurous with your taste palette. I would highly suggest going there as well. It's a great character breakfast. The Fab Five are there for breakfast, and it's really, really good. I think Animal Kingdom also has my favorite quick services. Flame Tree Barbecue, I think we go there every trip. It's really, really good barbecue. It's a really great atmosphere. You can find a table that's on the river. We love going there as well. I really liked Satuli Canteen too. They've got some fun, not different food per se, but the way that it's presented to you. Like the little cheeseburger pods are really fun. I think that's a really, really fun restaurant too in Pandora. So if you're looking for something fun and different, that's really great. I think personally, Animal Kingdom has the best, most different options for food if you're looking for something to try, something different that you might not try here at home or you know, anywhere else. So I definitely think they have the best food options. Obviously, we love the safari as well. That's really great. And I love that each driver is going to give you a different experience. Each time of the day, you're going to get a different animal experience. So it's really fun and interesting when you can have an attraction that it's going to be different every time you go on it. Yeah, they're going to have the same animals, but you're going to experience them in different ways each time. I mean, there's been times where giraffe just like right at our truck, but one of the animals was just like stuck in the middle of the road. We had to sit there and wait for it to cross the road, which is just like, it's so crazy. You're completely transported into the, you know, the African, you know, safari feeling. It's so cool and educational. We love it. I think we have a couple of videos with the safari on this channel because we just love it. Really fun. I love that. First thing in the morning is what I suggest. Just go and get in line, get that done in the morning. It's so great. And if you saw the Animal Kingdom video, you know my favorite drink is in Animal Kingdom as well. I don't know what it is, but at the Dawa bar, they have the best margarita. I'm pretty sure. So good. Every time I've ever gotten one there, it's delicious, it's fresh, it doesn't taste like mix. It's so good. But I think that's mostly it for Animal Kingdom. So we can move on to EPCOT, which again, I am so sad we did not get to go on our last trip. It's definitely one of my favorite parks as well. It's my least favorite as far as having kids. So if I have to choose between going to EPCOT or going to Magic Kingdom, you know, for the second day with my kids, I'm gonna have to choose Magic Kingdom, because if I'm not park hopping, then I will have to choose a different park, because my kids just can't go around the world and just eat and enjoy that. Really tough, because my husband and I, we love EPCOT. We love the World Showcase. We could spend a whole day or 3 there. We love it so much. They do have some cute rides. I love the Finding Nemo ride. Frozen, of course, that's our favorite. But I am so excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that is going to be a fun ride addition to EPCOT. So that is so exciting. I love Soarin'. I can't wait for Ratatouille. I think EPCOT is about to be more enjoyable for having a family of younger kids because of all the additions that they're adding as far as rides. It's going to be a lot more exciting and a lot more fun for everybody. Frozen is just, I think the first time we rode it, we were just in awe because the animatronics, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the first ride sets that they did where they did the mapping of their faces on the animatronics. Unbelievable. It was crazy. It was so cool. Love Frozen. That is one of my favorite things about EPCOT 2 is the Anna and Elsa meet and greet. It's like you walk through their little house and then, you know, you meet them inside. It's really special. I love that meet and greet. I think that's one of my favorites throughout the parks. We have also eaten at Akershus. Moving on to food, we've eaten at Akershus in Norway, and that's a fun, you can meet all the Disney princesses. It's so funny. I will have to find the picture and I will post it, but when we went for the very first time, we just had our oldest and she was maybe like 18 months old, and she freaked out when you first go in. You will have a picture and it was Belle, and I'm pretty sure it always stays Belle, though that doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. You'll meet Belle and you'll get a picture with her at the entrance. She was not having it. Her face is like of sheer terror, and my husband and I laugh about it all the time because it's hysterical how much she was afraid. I don't think she was afraid of any of the characters like Winnie the Pooh or anything like that, but man, was she not liking Belle. That was a really funny experience. I would say I don't eat seafood, and so eating there is very Norwegian. There's a lot of seafood, and I just don't eat that, and so it was hard for me to find things that I liked. I mean, they do have stuff other than seafood, but it is very Norwegian inspired food. And so if you don't like seafood, or if you don't have it's just different. If you don't like to try different things, then I would not suggest it for the food. But the character experience, you see all the princesses in that sense, that it is worth it. I think that EPCOT is probably the place that we've eaten the most restaurants at. I think we've eaten at quite a few. I really like Garden Grill. That's another character meal that I really like. My husband doesn't care for the food, but I love it. It's like Thanksgiving dinner if you go for lunch, and they do family style for lunch, dinner, and then breakfast as well. But I really love that because the restaurant spins, it's in the land area of EPCOT, so the restaurant spins and the characters, you see them so frequently. I mean, you could probably have 4 to 5 interactions with each character throughout your whole dining experience, and I like to see the scenery change. So I like it. I like that experience personally. I know a lot of people may not like the food, but I think it's a really good experience. I think the food is really good too, but I like that kind of family style, like homey meal. And I like that they use it from all of their like hydroponic growing, all their vegetables and everything like that. I really like that restaurant. We love Via Napoli, that's in the Italy Pavilion. It's really delicious pizza. I like Tepanito. It's pretty much hibachi, so it's not gonna be anything like crazy different than, you know, you could probably get at home, but the experience is really fun just being there. And Japan is our favorite pavilion out of all of them in the World Showcase. That's both of our favorite, which is so funny because my husband loves anime and loves all Japanese animation and things like that, whereas I'm not like a huge anime person. I just love that pavilion. If you haven't done Pick a Pearl, that is such a fun experience. My oldest and I did that together on one of our trips, and that was so much fun. That was another one of my top favorite memories, was doing that with her. She got twin pearls in her oyster, and I got one, and we have those. I finally got her ears pierced, and so now I can get those set into earrings and she can actually wear them now. But I love that. I love that whole pavilion. I love walking around that shop. There is just so much to look at. There's so much beautiful stuff. We all love to look around the Japan pavilion, and that whole area is gorgeous. You can see like their little garden and the music and the architecture, everything. It's stunning, and for sure our favorite pavilion. I do love Mexico too, and the Three Caballeros. It's a slow little boat ride, but it's really fun and cute. And the inside of the pyramid is beautiful. It is stunning. There's a volcano in the background. It's starlit. It's beautiful. The ambience is amazing. I really do. They did such a good job. I love Morocco. That's a stunning pavilion. The Norway one is good too. I mean, they're all so good, but Japan is definitely our favorite. I just love EPCOT. I really do. I could spend so much time there just walking around, and we have done food and wine as well. And again, that goes back to, it's not as enjoyable whenever you have a bunch of kids because you can't take your time. We actually had attempted to make a video of us trying all these different things around the world, and I mean, we just got so frustrated. That's totally fine. Like, don't go to Disney with kids thinking that you will not be frustrated and that it's going to be a magical trip from start to finish. You are gonna have meltdowns. All of you, me, I have them, my husband has them, our kids have them. Just go to Disney with the expectation that it's probably not going to be 100% magic if you're going with younger kids, or even as an adult. It's exhausting. It's not a relaxing vacation, which is weird, right? But this kind of goes into my tips, and that really is my number one. It's just, if you can just go in there with the mindset that everything's not going to be perfect, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to plan. You don't have to meet every single reservation. And this last trip was awesome in a lot of ways because we pretty much planned the trip and went like a couple of months later, which we don't ever do. I usually plan like everything down to the T, like months and months and months in advance. So this was like a quick last minute trip that we made. Didn't set a bunch of reservations to restaurants because there's so many of us trying to get ready and from place to place and needing a break. It's just, it can be very overwhelming to try to meet all of these reservations. I can't tell you how many I've had to just like call and be like, we're gonna be 30 minutes late, and it's so stressful. I do not like to be late. It's really frustrating for me, which my family would laugh and say that's probably not true because I've been late for a lot of things my whole life, but I do not like to be late. And so this really took so much pressure off of our trip, off of our days in the park, because I wasn't like, oh, well, we have to get out of here like in 5 minutes and go over here, and we have to be in the restaurant at this time, and all of these things. So that was really relaxing and really nice for me to we're just going with the flow. And then that kind of also goes with the rest days at the pool. That's another tip I have. I mentioned this in one of those, like in my Disney like recap portion of one of the videos from our trip, was that it took me until not this past trip, but the one before where I was pregnant with our youngest, to realize that pool days are okay. I know a lot of people are probably like me, where you feel like, well, I can just go to the pool in our neighborhood. I don't need to go on vacation and go to a pool. That's not the case. In Disney, you are walking so much. You are like just constantly going the whole time. You know, if you are a park opener to park closer, that is exhausting. It is hot. There are so many people, and it is okay to take a break and go to the pool for a day or two. I would work those in. You know, if you go to maybe Hollywood Studios for the morning, then I would go and just have a pool day for the afternoon, or, you know, whichever park you're going to, because it really does, like, it calms you and kind of recharges you to just relax and take a minute away from the parks, away from all the people. And so many of the pools are so beautiful. So I would really suggest not worrying about, well, I don't want to spend time at the pool on my vacation. Do it. Do whatever it is that you need to help bring you back down and relax and calm you after being on the go all day long. And then shoes, another one. I would suggest taking 2 pairs of shoes. I take tennis shoes and I take my Birkenstocks. For me personally, I might be a little bit different than a lot of people, but I prefer my Birkenstocks over my tennis shoes in the parks, because one, I can get them wet. Birkenstocks are great because you don't slip around in them. They're not plastic. They mold to your feet, so they're very, very comfortable. So I prefer those over my tennis shoes. But I think with how much you're walking, it's so good to have a second pair of shoes too, so that you can kind of give your feet a rest after, being in the park and on them so much. So I would highly suggest taking 2 pairs of shoes with you. And then if you need any kind of moleskin or anything like that, just for added protection, any kind of blistering, anything like that, definitely take that too. The thing is, just have fun. If it doesn't go perfectly, that's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. You're still a great parent, because you are still gonna have so many memories. Your kids are gonna talk about it for months and years, and it's just, you don't have to worry about being the perfect parent or the perfect person on vacation. You can enjoy yourself and relax and let go, because this is not going to be a relaxing vacation. It's a lot. Definitely just remember, it's okay. It's okay if you don't make a reservation, it's okay if you don't get to ride everything. It's just that's the way it goes sometimes. You just may not get to do every single thing, and that is okay. Anyway, moving on to resort. I will speak to the resorts that we have stayed at, and I cannot wait to stay at more and more. For us, we have stayed at Art of Animation. We stayed at Caribbean Beach. We've done Animal Kingdom Lodge twice. We did Grand Floridian, and we have done the Riviera. I think just based on whatever your budget is, whatever you're looking for, is going to mold what it is that you want from your resort. There is no better theming than at a value resort, which Art of Animation, it is so beautifully themed. You're well immersed into Disney whenever you stay at the Art of Animation. I love it. It's so much fun, so whimsical, and so cute. It's a really well done value resort. My problem with it is that you can stay at a moderate for the exact same amount that you can stay at that value resort. I do like that you can get a family suite. So if you do have a larger family, then I believe their rooms accommodate 6, whereas a lot of the rooms, I think they cap out at 5. That's a nice thing to have too. They have multiple pools, and I love that they are on the Skyliner track, because that is a game changer. That is my favorite way of transportation now around the parks. It is fun. It feels great to be up in the air and the breeze coming in through the window. I know that they're gonna start pairing you back up with other people, but a family our size plus having a double stroller, I don't know that we will ever be able to fit other people into our Skyliner gondola. But it's so much fun. It's so fast. So I really love that Art of Animation and Caribbean are all on the Skyliner track now. Going into the Caribbean Beach, I loved that too. Beautiful. You really do feel like you are in the Caribbean, in the islands, with the different islands that they'll put you in. We were in Aruba, and they've got Barbados and the different islands. It's just really fun. They have some pirate rooms, which I think is fun too. We didn't stay in one. Ours was just a regular room. It wasn't upgraded to anything like that, but really thought that the resort itself was beautiful. The rooms, the basic room was nothing to write home about. They're not very big, and they are the motel styles, so the doors are on the outside of the resort, where instead of like going inside something and going, you know, up the elevator to your room, there's no elevators and the doors are on the outside. So that, I mean, it's not like a deal breaker or anything, but only the one downside, which again, with it being on the Skyliner track, it's probably a total game changer. But if you are doing the buses, it can take you so long to get back to your room or to be like picked up, because the bus will go around the entire resort, and it is a huge resort. So like at the end of the day, if you're exhausted and tired, don't plan on being the first stop, you know, where most of the resorts, it's like there's one central bus stop, or with a lot of resorts. I think Coronado also has multiple stops, but there, with a lot of resorts, there's just one bus stop and then you would walk to your room from the one bus stop. But this one stops at multiple, and so at the end of the night you're so exhausted, and then it takes you like another, you know, 10 minutes to make it just around the resort to get back to your room. And so that I remember was one of the more frustrating things about staying at Caribbean. But it's beautiful. It is a stunningly beautiful resort, so I would recommend staying there. And Animal Kingdom Lodge, we stayed at next. We stayed at 2 years in a row, and I didn't think that we would ever stay anywhere else, to be honest. Once we stayed there, we were changed for life. I can't even tell you like how beautiful and amazing that resort is. To be able to look onto the savannah from your balcony it is so amazing. Watching the giraffes walk around, and I mean, there's just no experience like that you will have in this area, you know, or like in the States, really. I don't think that there's anything in the States where you can get that experience of them being right outside of your resort room. It's beautiful. Boma is one of my favorite restaurants, which is in the Animal Kingdom Lodge in Jambo House. It's so delicious. It's a buffet style, and again, it's gonna have a lot of the African themed meals, and the smell, and if you are a carnivore, that is where you need to be. So many different meat options, so many just different foods to taste and try, and it's fantastic. It's for sure one of my favorite restaurants. That resort, I mean, we stayed there twice. So it is for sure one of our favorites. I love the different interaction or like activities that they do. The kids they will hand out flags and do a little thing. They do like different drum sessions. I mean, there's just so many different things that they do. It's so good. Then we went to Grand Floridian, which I was so excited about. That one is right there on the monorail. It's probably the most iconic, probably I guess next to Contemporary and Polynesian. Obviously those right there in that circle are the most iconic Disney resort. That resort smell when you first walk in is stunning. It's beautiful. I love being on the monorail, though I will say when we stayed there, it felt like we waited a long time sometimes for the monorail. Like it took a while to get back onto the monorail to take us to the park. So I didn't expect that. I just assumed like it would be quicker than the bus. And so that was kind of a bummer to have to wait for as long as we did when we stayed there. But I love it. It's so easy, so convenient to get on to the monorail and just go straight like to Magic Kingdom. I love that. We did a boat ride from the parks back to the resort, and loved that too. The boat is so fun and relaxing, and if you go back while the fireworks are ending, beautiful. And I loved that. 1800 Park Fare at the Grand Floridian is also another one of my favorite character meals. We've done both breakfast with Pooh and Mary Poppins and the Mad Hatter. I loved it. The Mad Hatter is fantastic. One of the best characters in my opinion. And Mary Poppins was wonderful too. I love breakfast at the Grand Floridian. But I also really love like dinner too, because it's Cinderella and Prince Charming and the stepsisters and the stepmother, and it's wonderful. I love that both of those character meals. It is a buffet again, so I know a lot of people aren't really into doing the buffet thing. It's nice because really you can, if you have picky eaters, they have lots of different options and things for you to choose. So I love 1800 Park Fair. All around character meal, I think it's one of my favorite. That's all for the Grand. And then of course we stayed at the Riviera, and that has probably become my new favorite. If I could put the animals in the Riviera, like that would be my dream resort. The Riviera was our first time having a 1-bedroom or like a DVC room, and that was a game changer. I cannot see us ever not having a 1-bedroom or DVC room ever again because of the size of our family. I don't think that there's any other option, you know, as far as that goes. But and then having the full kitchen and refrigerator, because again, as part of having a larger family, and if you're trying to kind of keep an eye on your cost and what you're spending, especially now without the dining plans, you may need to be a little more conscientious of what you're spending. And to have a refrigerator and full kitchen, that gives you so much opportunity to make breakfast in your room or have lunch in your room with things that you can easily cook or prepare and keep cold and things like that. It is truly, like, for a larger family, that is a game changer. I love to do grocery delivery whenever we stay because you can just save so much money. And being out here in Texas, we don't have Publix anymore, and a girl's got to get her Publix fix when she's back on the, you know, southeast coast, because if you know, you know. I love that resort. It's a moderate, and I can't believe it. Truly and honestly, I can't believe it. That room was better than our Grand Floridian room, 100%. And we didn't, I mean, of course we didn't stay in a DVC room at the Grand, but it was better. It was better. The ambiance, you truly felt like you were in a resort on the Riviera. You have the water right there, the music that they pump out, the smell is amazing. I love all the art and the details that they put in it. Their pool is fantastic. The Grand, their pool is fantastic too. Everything was just so amazing. I so wish that I had had the energy like I normally do on a Disney trip when we were on this last trip, because there was so much more I wanted to see and do and experience at that resort. I want to go back and stay there so badly. At the same time, like, wanting to try new places too, but I just love it so much. It was so good. It was so much better than I even thought it was going to be in my head. So we will definitely be staying there again, whether it's the next trip or like a trip after that. I don't know. I love it. I would 1,000,000% suggest that. And I'm so sad because when we went, there was no reservations for Topolino's, and that's another character meal that they have at the very top, on the very top floor of the resort. And the view from out there, I'm sure, is stunning. And you can go up onto the terrace without a reservation, but we just never ended up going up there. I want to go there to eat so badly. I just love that resort, and I love that it's on the Skyliner line. Again, my favorite way to get around Disney. I would love it if they put the Skyliner everywhere, and like that was just how you got everywhere, and you know, around the resort, around all of Walt Disney World. It would be so fantastic. Those are all the resorts we've stayed at. A dream trip for me, my husband and I talk about it all the time. Like, we can't wait until one day, like, we can just go, the two of us, because I think that would be so awesome. I know that probably sounds weird because we have kids, and such a big part is watching your kids experience Disney. That's a huge part of our enjoyment, but we love Disney, the two of us. And so on our very first trip, my parents actually came, like, we all went together, and they watched our oldest when she was, you know, like I said, 18 months, and we got to go out for a night, and like, we were just two kids living the Disney dream, just the two of us. And I would love for us to be able to just go to EPCOT for a couple of days, just the two of us, and like actually walk around the World Showcase and eat everything and just really, really enjoy ourselves and relax and take it easy. That would be like my dream. I don't know when that will ever happen, but that would be great. I also want to stay at the Coronado Grand Destino Tower for one of our trips. We definitely want to stay at Poly. I just saw the new contemporary rooms. They're getting a much needed facelift. Those are going to be fun. Fort Wilderness for sure. I know there's so much to do outside of just Disney stuff at Fort Wilderness, so that's also bucket list resort stay. I wouldn't mind. I think maybe if it was just like Kurt and I would love to stay at maybe like Boardwalk or Beach Club. I think they don't have as much of the Disney theming as a lot of the other resorts. That's like my bucket list for resorts. I wanted to mention too really quick, one of my other absolute favorite memories was we went to Trattoria Alforna, I believe is what it's called, for the character breakfast. And that's with Flynn Rider, Rapunzel, and Ariel, and Eric. And I could have cried, okay? I feel like most of us, 90s girls, we were all Little Mermaid freaks, right? I had Little Mermaid everything, wallpaper, bedding, everything when I was younger. And when Prince Eric came to our table, my 4-year-old now, she was like 2 and she's always been very shy, very standoffish. She's very skeptical of everybody. And he just took her and embraced her, and I'm gonna have to put the picture in here because I started crying. It was so sweet how much just how comfortable she was and how sweet and caring and nurturing he was. Like, oh my gosh, if I could find that character, I would have to pay him like so much money, because that was one of my favorite memories that I'm always gonna have and I'm always gonna treasure, because it was Prince Eric. Okay, first of all, Little Mermaid, and just it was so good. It was so sweet. That's my favorite. That breakfast is phenomenal too. That's probably one of the best restaurants on property, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one of the best ones that are on property, and I believe it's in the Boardwalk. If you go to the Boardwalk area, I'm pretty sure it's in the Boardwalk Hotel. They're all connected, so it's kind of hard to decipher which one is which. I would highly suggest that for a character breakfast. It's so good. Oh, the pastries and everything that they bring you at the beginning, amazing. Definitely one of my favorites, highly suggest. So my battery died. To wrap this video up, I just wanted to say first of all, there are so many tips and different things that I could recommend or talk about. If you have any questions at all, leave them down below. I would love to make a whole video on planning, budgeting, like what you could expect to spend at Disney. There are so many variables when it comes to planning a Disney trip that there's no way that you could I could not include this in this video. This was more of my favorites, kind of like reminiscing over my favorite memories, the different parks and all of that. If you would like to see a budgeting and kind of like what you could anticipate spending, please leave me a comment and let me know, because I could literally talk about Disney all day long, every day. If you would like any more information at all, just let me know down below. And I just wanted to say, like, Disney is so magical. It's a place where you can go with your kids and actually enjoy yourself. I was just talking to my husband, and like we both agree, like it's one of those places where you don't have to really pick and choose who you're there for. We just love Disney. It makes us all happy, and we know that we could go multiple different places and have different experiences, explore other stuff. We understand that, but for us, for right now in this season that we're in with our children, it's something that we can do where we all can enjoy something, and pretty much we all enjoy most things about Disney. And so for us in this period, this is what we choose to do, and we love it. We love it so much. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. I'm hoping to do more on this topic in the future, and of course we will have more Disney trips to take you along with us on. And I had hoped that we would be able to go by the end of the year, but they're just now starting to release more hotel rooms, or they're just starting to open up more and more, so there will be more reservations. When I looked a couple months ago, there was nothing available for the time frame that I was looking at, and I'm kind of nervous because the 50th is going to probably be wild. We'll have to see kind of what happens. If not the end of this year, then it will be hopefully the beginning of next year. If you like talking about Disney like I do, then I hope that you enjoyed me just rambling on about the things that I love, my memories. I hope that if you're going to Disney soon, that you have the most amazing time and just relax as much as you can and try to enjoy it. Don't, you know, stress yourself out if things don't go perfect, because I mean, that's just, Disney is magical, but it is still life, and not everything is going to be perfect. If you just lower your expectations, then you'll see that you will have a better time. You will exceed your expectations if you go ahead and set it lower, especially having kids. Okay, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I hope that if you're a Disney person, you loved to hear me just ramble on about my favorite things and my memories. I would love to know more about what you love about Disney. If you're going to the park soon, I'm so jealous. I hope that you have the most magical, amazing time. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in the next video.